This is DownHome Sports, covering the best sports and student athletes in Ellis County. Brought to you by Pinnacle Bank with ATM Live, powered by the people. Not just another bank in Texas, but Texas in a bank. The United States Marine Corps, the fighting spirit of an entire nation. Doe City Pizza and Burgers. For the best in artisan pizza and burgers, go to Doe City in Red Oak, Texas, across from the high school. It is delicious.
With today's busy schedules, we need flexibility. Pinnacle Bank is the way banking should be. With ATM Live, powered by the people. They have hours that make it easy. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can just pull up to one of the easy to access ATMs, where there's always someone live, friendly, and knowledgeable to help you. Pinnacle Bank, not just another bank in Texas, but Texas in a bank. Member FDIC. Guess what, Ellis County? They inspire us. They got high kicks, and this is their 60th year, and that's what they're celebrating. It's Miss Donna Newman. We got Brooke Scoggin and Melanie Hang from the Midlothian Pantherette award-winning dancers. Miss Donna, glad to have you with us. Just talk about the Pantherettes as a whole, 60 years, celebrating that this year, and just talk about from being a Pantherette yourself to now being the director.
Well, we've been around 60 years, like you said, from 1961. It has really evolved. I was back in the Pantherettes back in the 1980s, and that's when they started really developing and becoming a very well-known drill team. And we had 30 dancers back then, and it was a strict 30 dancers. That's how many uniforms we had. That's how many girls we had. And back then in the 80s, we performed with our Panther Regiment and competed with them also back then. So that was an awesome time. And we traveled to Florida for the Citrus Bowl parade from doing so well with the regiment, and everybody thought we were the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. So I thought that was really funny. In the parade, they're like, "Look, it's them." We're like, "No, we're kind of far from that." But it's just really really evolved. Some of our past directors that have come through have been past Rangerettes and Tyler Kilgore Apache Bells. And so they've really transformed the Pantherettes into what we are today as a very high level dance and kick team. And when I was hired 7 years ago, I was asked in my interview about performing with the regiment again as part of their show. And I was all for it because that's what I knew. And was my memories as a Pantherette and had very fond memories of doing that. So I was very excited for that. And so we've kind of evolved but we've tried to keep our same identity as we've had in the past and still have our high kicks and our routines out there. And then we have the privilege to perform and compete with the band at the UIL level, which a lot of the drill teams don't get that opportunity because drill team is not sanctioned by UIL. So it's a special time for my girls to have that opportunity to go to and compete at the state level in the UIL arena. So that's pretty special for us. And but these ladies are the most intelligent, most well-behaved, just the best of the best at MHS. And I couldn't be more proud of them and be more proud to be part of this organization and to come full circle as a Pantherette and now leading the Pantherettes. And outside of football season, of course, we do our own competition season, which we get started on pretty soon. And they do very well. We compete with marching auxiliaries up in usually up North Dallas area. So we can compete against those teams up there. And we have competed with Showtime here in our area and crowd pleasers. We're doing crowd pleasers this year. And they do very, very well at competition. Our team competes as well as the officers. They do an officer category. We do some specialty elite groups that compete that do very well. And then all the girls have the opportunity to do a solo and to compete individually. And they do very well with that too. So that's exciting. And then of course we have our annual spring show, which I think this year is going to be probably around the 30th, 38, somewhere between 35 and 40. I don't know exactly, but I did find an old newspaper clipping from back when I was in school, and it said the 6th annual. So I was like, okay, I can do my math. And so I think it's around between 30 and 40 years we've been doing spring
Wow.
shows. Yeah. So, and they've evolved a lot. We were talking about this in officer period the other day, how differently the spring shows have come. Because we saw an old picture of one, or an old video of one at the old auditorium, and I was showing the girls. I was like, "This is the size of the," and they're like, "That looks like the Walnut Grove stage." I was like, "No," I was like, "That's the auditorium." It was really small, but it's neat to go back and show them old videos and things of how it used to be and how it's evolved and stuff. But just an awesome group, and MHS is behind them. I mean, they are, all the groups support them and love them. And I'm so proud of that too, that they are in the school and active in more things than just the Pantherette, so that people can get to know them, and we can support and be a good representation of MHS. So, yeah.
Well, ladies, I know y'all can pull it off with a great spring show. I've been to a few of them, but that Coco Chanel one's going to be hard to top. That was a really good one. Brooke, let's just talk. This year, you're a captain, and talk about getting that first hat all the way to getting that captain's hat, and what those experiences were like for you.
Well, coming in, honestly, my 8th grade year, I was new to Midlothian. I came in March and so I didn't know anybody. Moving in, I was new. I met Melody probably freshman year making Pantherettes. And I honestly came a long way too, with like leadership abilities and like dancing wise. And it's honestly just great to work with everybody and with Miss Donna for 4 years now. And it's honestly really sad that now it's my senior year and I'm captain, because I really don't want it to end. It's going to be sad, but I'm looking forward to greater things moving on. But it's honestly just a great experience to be able to lead my team throughout the 60th year. And I'm just so excited about everything that we have for this year with contest season and spring show, and I can't wait.
Well, Melody, president of the Pantherettes, and just talk about, most people think all y'all do is dance, or you're out there on the football games. There's so much more about being a Pantherette. There's community service. There's the Pantherette extravaganza that y'all do every year with the kids. There's working with the theater department and all their productions. There's just so many things. How has Pantherettes helped you not only on the dance floor, but become a better person outside of that arena?
It has taught me so much, especially like discipline and self-control. It's just helped me so much as a person and with life skills as well.
Awesome. Well, I got to ask you two ladies. Okay. My sister was on a drill team. I don't see any of this hanging in y'all's rooms, but she used to tie a brush to the ceiling and then kick it all the time. And as she was able to kick it, she'd raise it up. What are some of the training methods that y'all currently use? Because that's another thing. People don't realize how hard y'all work out, that you're constantly up there in a sweat to make sure that these performances are great. Melody, how hard are the workouts that y'all go through on a daily basis?
Honestly, it's pretty difficult, but we all know that the end result will be beautiful with our technique and our kicks, and everything's going to look so good after all of that hard work.
Okay. And Brooke, is there something special that you do? I mean, I know besides the Pantherette training, most of you ladies are going to dance classes and things like that on the side. But what are some of the special things that y'all do to train for this that most people would never know about?
Well, actually, this past summer, we started our football boot camp that we do with the cheerleaders, and Coach Anderson actually led it. It was a week long. We came early in the morning and we trained with Coach Anderson. So we learned running on the track and just what is the word? Just getting our momentum up and learning how to persist through that. We also learned how to lift weights and squat. And so a lot of girls continue with that to get stronger, and also helps us with our kicks, for example. like having that strength in our legs to hit and close back down. So that was an awesome experience to do this summer. And a lot of girls I know take like technique classes after school, like out on the move here in Midlothian. I take a ballet class there to help with like technique there and just different stuff like that. And I know a lot of girls work outside of school as well, including me, with like stretching on their own or just working on little stuff. So in practicing our routines as well to get us all together to look great.
Awesome. Well, like I said, my sister was in a drill team, and guess what? I ended up having to take 7 years of tap because of her wanting to go to dance classes. So,
Tater, you can be a Pantherette.
No, that's for them boys, let me tell you. But Miss Donna, what does it do to your heart when you see these young ladies and the things that they're able to accomplish, not just through school? We know that this group, amazing set of girls. They put their hearts and their souls into every performance, not just on Friday nights, at the competitions. When they're sitting there getting together at the beginning of the year, breaking into squads, those squads are so well loved. But when y'all have the Pantherette extravaganza and you get to see them inspire other people in town that are young, how much does that do your heart good about where these girls are taking things from where y'all started them at?
It doesn't really good. That's a big thing that we talk about at the beginning of the season is how people are looking at them, and little girls are looking up to them all the time. And every time that they're out and about with our posters all around town, you can be walking around and not even be in a Pantherette shirt or anything, and they'll recognize you from your poster. They'll recognize you from on Friday night at the football game. I was getting ready for halftime, and I was standing by the stands, and this mother taps me on the shoulder and said, "I'm so sorry, but my daughter just did your Pantherette extravaganza." And she hollered, "Oh my gosh, that's the lady that did it." And so they see you. And so we really stress to these girls what role model they are to these younger girls and boys, and how they are recognized all the time. And I'm so proud that I know that I can trust that when they're out and about in the community, that they will hold themselves to a high standard, that they understand that they are being watched, and that those little girls want to be them someday. And I have all the confidence in the world that they will be the best person to those little girls when they see them and say hi to them. And I do also want to say that these girls, a lot of seasons, like baseball season, basketball season, it's a short part of the year, but these girls, it's all year long for them. Mm-hmm. And school starts at 8:30. Their school starts at 7:00 every morning, and sometimes 6:45 every single morning. They are up there all year long. They'll get a couple of days or maybe a week here that they have a couple of times off, but they are constantly working, and being part of the band show adds to their workload. And where there's drill teams that have 2 weeks to work on a dance and perfect it for Friday night, our kick routine, we had 2 days to get that kick routine together because we were so busy concentrating on band show and getting that together. But I have so much confidence in them, and I know that they can do it. They had 2 kick routines in 1 week to get ready, one for the pep rally and one for the Friday night game. And they've just learned how to work and know what they need to get done. And they just amaze me all the time at their work ethic and the way that they can come together as a team and get it done, and have all that and know everything and know their flag part for the band show.
Well, Melody, I want to jump down to you. Okay. We want to peel back the curtain just a little bit. We know how disciplined this team is, but I also know how much fun y'all are when y'all are hanging out together. So who's got the aux cord in the bus going to the games? Who's getting the TikToks going and playing songs that Miss Donna's never heard before in her life?
Okay, so usually we have Abby Carrillo on the aux cord. She is our spirit leader, and oh wow. Every time she has the aux cord, she always gets those girls going before games. And TikToks would be Joanna Mancia, okay. That's our treasurer. And oh my gosh, those girls are just such a great asset to my council. And the whole team just gets so hyped up before games or before anything, honestly.
Now, Melody, tell them what y'all just had, what y'all just had, our social party that we just had. What do we just
had our murder mystery.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's a game where we all play different characters for the whole night, and someone has to find out who murdered a certain character. And it's just so fun because the whole team really gets into it and they're trying to investigate the murder, and it's just so fun.
Awesome. Well, was Fletcher Newman the person that was murdered?
Oh, Fletcher didn't come this year.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Brooke.
Yeah, that's a tradition that we've carried over for many years. So it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot.
Well, Brooke, I mean, we're peeling it back that curtain a little bit, okay? So let's be truthful here. What are some of the little superstitions Miss Donna has about a performance or a week? Is there anything that maybe even a girl has? Like, you know, they've got to warm up with this person, or you have to warm up towards the end zone. Or, you know, Miss Donna has to go through a checklist.
Let me think. Honestly, for like games and stuff, like we have like our bag checks that we do like beforehand. So, and I've been helping Miss Donna out with this too, with like bag checks. We write basically everything that we need for like the game, especially with like contests too, to make sure we have like our right shirts, we have our right pants that we need to wear. Because we drill teams, we all want to look uniform, especially Pantherettes. We all want to look the same. So we have our bag checks that we have to do. We have certain times that we have to be ready before games, just to make sure that we're all precise. We get there on time for different stuff as well.
Well, Brooke, speaking of bag checks, okay, that was another one of my questions. How many items does it take to put together a Pantherette uniform?
Honestly, with like everything together, everything that you need for like Friday nights, it close to take up 2 pages with safety pins, bobby pins, hair curlers. Your bags are packed on Fridays. You need to take 2 separate bags with different shoes. You have to wear clothes to school with like your certain like Pantherette shirt or your spirit wear. Also, you need like our rain hat covers that we wear if it starts raining, our trash bags to put our backpacks in if it starts raining. You need your noise maker to cheer on the football team. There's a lot that goes into that bag check that takes close to almost 2 pages long.
Well, Melody, you know, you talked about the girls that made the TikToks and stuff. Have y'all gotten Miss Donna to do one yet with you?
We actually have.
Okay. Well, we need it. We need to put it in the highlights.
Yeah,
we need to get that out there.
Most definitely.
I do that
Melody,
every once in a while.
Okay. Well, Melody, are you planning on continuing your drill? Well, I'm going to go back to something else first. But Melody, you know, I'm going to give you girls total props. Folks, if y'all don't realize this, cheerleaders can put on sweats when it gets really cold. These young ladies don't get to. Melody, how do you handle the weather? Because, I mean, y'all really don't have jackets like everybody else. Y'all are out there in the elements. How do y'all handle that?
You just have to suck it up, honestly. But after a while being in the cold, you really get used to it, honestly. So it's not too bad.
Okay. Well, Miss Donna.
Lettermans to wear, so yeah.
Okay.
They stand up and start dancing around.
Is that why y'all constantly move all the time?
Yes, sir. That
okay. That's awesome. Well, Miss Donna, you know, talk about just these 2 young ladies as individuals and how much they mean to the squads, to the team as a whole, and how they inspire each individually to other people.
Oh, you make me cry. So Brooke, like she said, she came in 8th grade, and I remember traveling to Frank Seal during their dance classes and seeing Brooke and Miss Dodd telling me, oh yeah, that's Brooke. She came from Mansfield and she's new, and she just jumped. And when she got there, she just jumped right in, and like she'd been there all the time and was just dancing with those girls and having a great time. And I thought, well, wow, that's awesome. And every time I was there, she was dancing. And then she came into Pantherettes, and Brooke is a performer. I mean, she has that performance quality that you just automatically kind of gravitate to her, because she just has that personality out there that just never quits. And when she made officer, I knew she would be a good officer. And she did a phenomenal job as a junior last year. And she really paid attention to what her older officers were doing and everything that needed to know. And her and Anna Kate West was her junior officer with her. And they just really clicked really well and just came right in. And then now that she's the captain, I mean, she's just knocked it out of the park. I know that if I'm not there, she's going to get those girls going. I know they're not going to sit around and wait for me to show up. I know that she knows to get them going and to get them to work hard for her. And she gets it going. And that's just exactly what I needed in a captain. And they listen to her, and she's a great role model in all of those aspects. So she's done a phenomenal job this year. So I'm excited to continue that journey with her this year. And like I said, she's just a light. She's just always a happy person. I can always tell when she's sad because she's happy all the time. And you always kind of know that, so she's done a great job. And so I'm very proud of her. Melody, and didn't really know her in middle school at all. And her freshman year tryout, she had to do it via video because her parents took her on a trip, and she was not going to be able to be there. And so I didn't get that experience of seeing her at tryouts, one-on-one, and kind of get to know each other. So I didn't really get to know Melody until she got on the team. And she is just, again, very positive, very helpful, just the sweetest spirit. And the girls just gravitate to her. And if she says something, they will do it. They have a lot of respect for her also. And I was very excited when she became the president because she's very organized. And again, they respect her, so they listen to her, and just very proud of her. And she's a beautiful dancer. She has beautiful kicks. She has been Miss High Kick, Pantherette High Kick the last 2 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Oh, we got that one straight really quick.
Did you get it when you were a freshman too?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, Melody. Yeah. Wow, that's something special. So anyway, I will honestly tell you, and I've told her this too, because in middle school, Miss Dodd did tell me, she goes, yeah, she goes on trips a lot. And I was like, oh no. But I tell you, she's not been on any trips and has never missed anything for Pantherette since she made Pantherettes. And I know I can call both of these girls anytime. And just like this interview, hey, can y'all come do this? Yep, we'll be there. And I know that I can count on both of them. And so they're amazing leaders. And I'm going to be very sad when I lose them because they've been awesome. And they're my friends.
Melody, we're going to start with you this time. Okay. So up to this point in your career as a Pantherette, what is the most memorable thing for you? And what kind of mark do you hope to leave on such a storied organization?
The most memorable thing that I've seen is just seeing these girls grow into different people as they grow up. And it just makes my heart melt because seeing them grow into these beautiful women, it's like, wow, like it's just so special. And I want them to know me as someone who can always be there for them no matter what, and just a person that can help them with whatever they need. And yes.
Awesome. And Brooke, what about you?
Well, probably the most memorable moment is my freshman year getting ready for that first spring shows, that Friday night, getting with all those dress rehearsals. You're working so hard, you're getting ready for it, you're nervous, but just walking out on that stage for the first time, it's a crazy feeling, especially with all those lights. The people in the crowd is phenomenal. It's like so many people are out there supporting you, and it's just an awesome experience. And it's sad that we didn't get to experience that my sophomore year because of COVID, but last year again, it's just such a great experience, and I can't wait for this year. And the mark that I want to leave on the team is I want the younger members coming in, I want them to look up to me as a role model, especially even when I leave college. Because I remember my freshman year, Kaylee Rochford, who was a Kilgore College Rangerette now, or graduated now, she was an officer as well. But I remember my freshman year, she was a senior. I would always look up to her, and I was like, wow, that's who I want to be. She was captain, and that's who I inspired to be as a captain as well. And I want other younger members, maybe even juniors, that look up to me and be like, wow, I want to be like Brooke one day, and just leave that mark on the team.
Well, Miss Donna, do y'all have anything special coming up for the 60th any other events that y'all are going to be doing to honor past and current?
Well, we are working on something for a spring show, and we're also working on a special spring show, hopefully, which we can't talk about yet, but because it's a surprise.
You can't tell the secret here.
No, we can't.
Okay.
This is what we do. The officers and I get together in November, and we have a retreat, and we plan out the entire spring show. And then we reveal that spring show, all of our ideas in the whole spring show to the team first at our winter retreat. And so that's when it goes public on what our spring show is about. So we don't reveal it out to everybody until we reveal it to our team. And that's usually the first weekend in December. But my assistant, Millie Ayers, she was also a former Pantherette. So she's helping me out. We want to do something big with the alumni for our spring show. We would love to have them come back for a reception, for some type of a dinner. So that's kind of in the works right now. I've been reaching out to a lot of them this year, just asking them some of their favorite memories, some of their favorite, things that they remember too. So we have some special things planning for our spring semester. So yeah.
Very good. Well, ladies, thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. And Friday Night Lights would not be the same without our bands, our cheerleaders, and especially our drill teams. Thank you so much for being a fabric of everybody's high school careers.
Do you know the difference?
Well, the best benefit in having true benefits is the fact that they're easy. You can get a hold of them. It's not 2 days later, a week later, I can make a phone call. If they don't have the answer, they'll get us the answer within 24 hours.
He came to the office and interviewed all of our girls and did a presentation, told them what they were offering, and the girls were able to decide what they needed.
They came in and gave us options both for our company and our employees that were affordable and beneficial for all.
No matter the size of your business or your employees' needs, True Texas Benefits is the partner for you.
Because Ellis County knows the difference.
True Texas Benefits for all your benefits needs.
Hey, guess what, Ellis County? We're joined by the Waxahachie Indian football team. We got Coach Tolleson. We got Jaden Bex. And we got Keith Abney Jr. Coach, welcome to the show again. And, we're looking here, overall record 5-3, 3-2. Some great ball being played by your club right now. And just talk about the overall thing of how your team has progressed through the season.
Well, I'm very proud of this group of guys, and as we're moving forward into the next couple of weeks. But just looking back over a season, we could have easily been right now sitting here at 7-1, in those close games. But we're not going to live in the past. We have a great ball club here, just like the two gentlemen that got on the Zoom tonight with, Jaden Bex and Keith Abney, and those guys right there make this thing roll. So it's fun to watch them.
Well, and Jaden, you're one of the top runners in the district right now. 94 carries, 424 yards, 3 TDs on the season thus far. Just talk about how y'all have gotten that offensive juggernaut going, and you're eating that clock and not letting other teams have extra possessions.
Oh, we really just got better as a team as throwing and catching. So when we throw and catch, it give us an open hole for the running backs. So it could be really easy.
Well, nice, man. That's even out the offense there. And your buddy up above you there, Keith Abney, we're looking at 12 receptions, 228 yards, 2 TDs. How does it feel to spread out that offense just a little bit more?
It feels really good. All the pressure don't got to be on me. I have a bunch of good teammates to help. It feels really good.
Well, Keith, one of the big things is most people don't realize y'all are downfield blocking. So you're not just out there trying to catch passes, but y'all are actually adding to the running game. How much tenacity and how much grit do you have to be a wide receiver there in Waxahachie?
You have to have a lot of grit because most receivers, they think that you playing receiver, you're just going to catch the ball, run routes. But no, you got to be able to block because when you got running backs like Jaden and stuff, they can break a big play anytime. So you just got to be prepared for that play and be on your man blocking down the field.
Well, Coach, going back to you real quick, you had that big block punt this week, goes in for a TD. I mean, it just seems like your defensive and special teams unit have been playing at an extremely high level, and that offense has just creeped up with it. And, you could be a force to be reckoned with. But I know you being on the defensive side of the ball normally as a coach before being head coach here, that's a big thing for y'all. And taking away minutes and plays, is that not something that y'all focused on at the beginning of the season?
Well, going into the end of the season, number one, offense always takes longer than defense. There's a lot of meshing to come into play, a lot of timing. Defensive guys, you can make a mistake and somebody covers you up. You make a mistake on offense, it's a negative play, it's a turnover, it's a big bad thing for your football team. So I knew that going in, it's gonna take the offense longer than defense. I'm a defense by trade, but as I see and sit over here everything when I meet with the offensive staff, my goal is, and I bring the Denton Ryan philosophy here, and that's just get the ball to the men. The guys that can do something with it. And I don't care if they're double covered, if somebody's on top of them, if we're doing our job is to get it to the men, like Keith Abney, Jaden Becks, Joe Langford, those guys, and let them run with it. Now, one thing about, Keith Abney, he's playing both sides of the football. He's playing 100 snaps in 6A football, which is unheard of. I usually would like it to keep it about 85 to 90, but he's playing 100 and on both sides of the ball. So that's something that's definitely helping our football team. Due to an injury, he had to go both ways and start. And, it's not ideal for us, but it's helping us, number one, shore up some things on defense, but also giving us a chance on offense to play. And right now, what they're doing defensively, they're trying to double cover him, which is open up the holes for a guy like Jaden Becks and Iverson Young, so to help us to balance that offense out. And credit to our quarterback, he's having a year that he's kind of have to process a lot of stuff, so now getting it all out of his hands faster, getting him more comfortable is always key. And I think last week we took a big step forward. We had 2 blunders in our punt team that we got to get fixed, but other than that, I was very proud of these kids.
Well, Keith, as a wideout and a skill player, man, you got to love it when you got a coach that says, get my guys the ball. Okay. How does that make you feel? How much confidence does that give you in your game to go out there and just execute the way coach is just letting you be able to be a player?
It gives me a lot of confidence because it's like the coaches believe in me and my ability on the field. So it's just like I just have to back it up on the field and make a play when they need me to.
Well, Jaden, same question to you basically. You're going to get a lot of workload in that running game, and, those yards add up. You start looking at, most people are like waiting for something big to break out. But, in the district right now, you and Iverson Young are in the top 10 running backs in that district. And that district's got some good lines and some good runners. How much confidence does that give you going into the rest of this season with a couple games left?
It gives me a lot of confidence. It just feel like I can't let the team down. Team depending on the running backs and O-linemen and the really good receivers we got. We just can't let the team down. It's just how I feel.
Well, Coach, Nick Saban's always talking about clock management and stuff like that. And that's a big thing that y'all look at, taking away those possessions. As you continue out through this season, do you see that running game eating that clock even more, or you think that there's going to be a lot more big plays open up based on that running game?
I think a little bit of both. The great teams I've been a part of, the championships teams I've been a part of, they've always played great defense. They're always able to run the football, and they had that 1 or 2 guy they had to take a shot down the field. The better that we can run the football, the better it's going to open up a guy like Keith. And when Keith is making plays, it's going to open up for guys like Jaden Becks. So, but the clock always comes into play because defense better when the offense is on the field and the referee is giving the first down signal. Make no mistake about it. This is not just a defensive team. This is a football team, and we can't do it without our offense, and our offense can't do it without our defense. So we got to make sure that we're holding each other's rope every time we go out there, no matter what happens, no matter the score, and use that clock to our advantage. And when they give it to us, we're going to pound it at you. And I think it's a mentality. I love the defensive mentality on offense. We're going to attack you on offense. We're going to come right at you. And if you stick your nose in there, we're going to pop it out to number 8 and see what he does with it. So it's exciting.
Well, and Jaden, the philosophy for a running back, you got to be eating this up. Helmet on a helmet, push somebody and just truck them when you come through the gap, right?
Yes,
as a running back, you got to love that. And plus you got enough scoot on you that you can pop it outside and get in a couple extra yards there. So talk about that offensive line from a running back's perspective. I've seen a lot of plays where you got your hand on somebody's hip and you're just trusting your blocker out in front and following that lead.
I trust this offensive line. They've progressed a lot from the summer until now. They got really better. I trust them, buy them food sometimes, do whatever. Yeah.
Hey, we'll get you through it. There we go. Well, Keith, talk about the defensive side of the ball right now, okay? Have you found out that it kind of helps your game a little bit, running routes and then going back out there on defense other than being tired? That you've just been out there and done stuff like that. And how does that affect your game?
Yeah, so it actually helps me because, like, when I'm going over, like, technique and stuff for defense, like, I'm learning the things that DBs are looking for, the key and receiver routes. And I'll take that over to like, when I'm playing a receiver, and I could, like, use that as an advantage to, like, get open and stuff like that and make plays.
Well, I mean, does it also help you, like, not just on your route running, but just watching and looking for little small things that you can take advantage of that defender or take advantage of that offensive guy, like knowing when to jump a route, et cetera?
Yes, sir. It does. It really does.
Well, Coach, I know y'all have got a lot of stuff going on this week. You got games to go to tonight, but, you got a couple games left. What are you wanting to see from the team as a whole in these last couple of games to get ready for what could be a fun offseason?
Well, I want to see us get better. I want to see a complete game. I want to see a full 4-quarter offense, defense, and special teams. That's when your team start to mature. And because great teams, they do this. They continuously go up. Average team take dips. They play down to their opponent. They play up to great teams. They play down to their opponent. And now we got a huge challenge this week. Waco High, I know they have the record that's not, very appealing to a lot of people, but they're better than what their record shows, and it's going to be a dogfight over there, and we got to play. But great teams, we talk about championship teams. It doesn't matter who your opponent is. You go over there and play to your standard. Go out there on the defensive side of the ball, and you're going out there to stone them, get off the yard in 3 plays, period. Offensively, you're there to stay above the chains, take your shots, run the ball, and keep those chains moving and score when you have those opportunities. So, and on special teams, it's got to be clean. If we're going to reach the goals that we have for our football team, and people might, you can call me crazy. There's championship caliber teams coming up in Waxahachie, Texas. I promise you. But in order to do that, we've got to clean up on the special teams, and we got to make sure we execute on offense. We got to tie up some stuff on defense to do those things. And it's here. It's in this locker room. I'm so proud of them. They're doing everything I've asked them to do, and to Jab's credit, that guy's grown up a lot. I don't know if you read his article in the newspaper. He said, I love winning with my brothers. And he gave a lot of credit to his offensive line. That's a leap years from where we were in the spring when I got here. So if I can't really define culture, but I know it when I see it. And that's a positive thing for our football program, is seeing other kids putting others before themselves and giving credit to teammates. So, yeah, I'm excited. I want to keep going up.
Well, and Keith, I was going to bring this, coach just kind of touched on this a little bit, but, the first year we went down there and talked to a bunch of players, and that motto, hold the rope. What does that mean to you and the guys in the huddle?
It just means, like, doing your job at all times. Don't, like, try to worry about anybody else or, like, blame anybody else. Just do your job at the best at your ability.
Okay. And, Jaden, how are y'all taking that motto and effectively using it in the huddle on the field when those coaches aren't necessarily around to give you that motivation?
No, we just not blaming each other for nothing. We just say next play. We're not blaming each other. We just go to the next play.
Well, Coach, that's got to make you feel good right there, because, you got to have a short-term memory in this sport. You got to let the play go and just do something else. Make sure that you're going to follow your execution. But would you like to give a shout out to any of your junior high teams? I know y'all have had a really good junior high season as well, and that's building that program for the next couple of years.
Oh, it is, and not just one in particular. I think we have a great middle school staff here. Howard does a great job with Coach McCullough over there, Coach Gonzalez at Findlay, Coach Kirby over here at Coleman. I'm excited to be on the sidelines. I'm excited to be around kids. I love kids, period. I was raised by coaches. I've been around it all my life. And I just want those kids to know that there's no better place than to come here. And there's nobody that wants to coach them worse than me. So it's fun to go watch them play. And also my son's on the 7th grade Findlay team. So I have a little bit of motivation on that.
Gotcha. Well, Keith and Jaden, I'm going to ask y'all this. We'll start off with Keith, though. What do y'all do to go out and inspire people in the stands, the young kids, to pass on this legacy, to start getting this thing started and making this a tradition of having that kind of locker room? Keith?
I remember when I was younger, I used to look up to the people that played on Friday nights. So I tried to keep my attitude straight, not do anything out of line, and just make plays on Friday so that the kids would think, oh, I want to be like that guy, and just grow up to be like me.
Awesome. Well, Jaden, what about you, bud?
I just want to, set it for the kids just under me, because growing up, I had looked up at kids older people like Jalen Rager, Damani Richardson, guys like them. I just looked at them, just try to be the best athlete I can be on the field and off the field.
Pretty phenomenal, man. Well, Coach, guys, thank y'all so much for your time. Appreciate it. I know y'all got busy things going on tonight, and taking a few minutes out for us means a lot. We'll see y'all on down the road and in the playoffs, hopefully, and we'll get it from there. Okay?
In Ellis County, you know where to go for the best pizzas and burgers.
Welcome to Doe City. How are you doing today?
A menu that allows you to have it just the way you like it. Great, friendly customer service. And all the toppings you can handle. So what do our customers say about Doe City?
We come up here all the time, so we love the pizza and the burgers also.
It's somewhere we can all come and have a good time with our friends and enjoy the good food that they have here. I love the fries.
And it's cooked to order, so you're always going to get it fresh.
Doe City's always a great place to come and hang out with your friends.
Whether it's Tuesday or Friday night after a ball game in Ellis County, guess what? You can always make it over and have a little bit of Delicious.
It's delicious.
Delicious. It's delicious.
So come in or order out at Doe City Pizza and Burgers in Red Oak, Texas.
Hey, guess what, Ellis County? We got Ferris Football. We got Kyrie. We got Chase Mom. We got Nathan Greek. And we got more to come, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Coach Greek over there, chopping wood, carrying water. That's what Ferris Football's been doing all season. And, Coach, you come into this week 4-4, 1-1. It's a race to 2. Who's going to get in the playoffs? And, you had a game last week. You got down early. But how proud are you of this team? I mean, they chopped wood. They stayed after it. They just kept inching away and clawing back in that game. Does that not give you good signs for the rest of this season?
Well, that's one thing that I know as a coaching staff, we are very proud of these seniors, these captains, and our entire team. I've been part of teams before where when they get down a little bit, sometimes they start hanging their head or maybe pouting a little bit, feeling sorry for themselves. And at halftime, I think we had a heart-to-heart. I think that's fair. And we really challenged these guys to see what it could become and what it could look like if we just, no matter what the scoreboard shows, give us all you got. Play as hard as you can, and when the dust settles, let's see what happens. And we looked up, and with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we had scored that fourth touchdown, and then we decided to go for 2 to try to tie it, and we converted the 2-point conversion, and lo and behold, it was a tie game. And we told these guys when we lose, we simply believe that we ran out of time. And I think the way the other night went, it could have got away from us, but these guys were not going to surrender. They were not going to quit. And we are very proud of the way we finished the game. Now the challenge is, can we stack 4 quarters together, and be that team throughout an entire game? And that's the quest we're on.
Well, and Chase, I'm going to tell you, man, all the highlights I've seen of you this year on the defensive side, I mean, do you got a bag of lumber back there in your backpack or something? Because you've been bringing it, man. You've been putting the wood to them and knocking them back. What's that mentality like right now on that defensive side of the ball?
I mean, we're going 100%, but that comes back to the coaches. I feel like in practice, they've just been pushing us harder and harder every day. And we're starting to put it to use. All the summer workouts, all the extra days, all the days off that we put in the work when nobody was looking at it, started up now.
Well, and Kyle, we're going to stick with that defensive side of the ball, right? I mean, dude, I see you standing up tackles twice your size and holding the edge almost every week and then making a great play. You know, that takes a little bit of tenacity. It's not just your strength and everything. You got to have great form and everything like that. You got to know what's going on. How are the coaches helping you make these reads and stuff to where you know, when you take that defensive end, you're working him to the edge and you're holding him up, you know when that running back's going to make that cut and make the tackle for it?
Sir, we just, in Indy every day, we just work on spilling the blockers and containing the edge. So it really helps when we work on it every day.
Well, and Nathan, jump over to you real quick, man. You know, you probably had a little bit of an injury, getting better every day, hopefully. And just talk about being over there and being a leader on the sidelines like I see you being. You know, you're always in there. You're always trying to inspire no matter what the situation might be on the field or not. Just talk about giving those words of encouragement throughout the year.
Well, it's a lot different watching instead of playing. But even when I was playing, if we were losing, I would try to be the one to encourage and, tell everybody to keep their heads up, keep your chin up. And, that's what I still have to do right now since I'm not playing. Like in our last game, we were down in the first half. I was on the sideline encouraging, telling people, we're still in this. We don't got to worry right now. We still got a ton of time left. So it's a different it's change, it's different, but I just got to be the best encourager that I can.
Hey, and you're doing a great job with it from everything I see. Hayden, let's talk about where the brisket hits the blacktop, brother. I mean, y'all getting out there road grading in that second half now. Are you just, it looked like smash mouth football that second half. You're up against your own goal line, and y'all just come firing off there for about an 8-9 yard run to get from underneath the shadows. What was that drive like? Because it just seemed like y'all just plowed the road.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell what a lot of the drive was like because I was on top of a bunch of different guys throughout it. Pancakes, but
that's called pancakes, right?
Yes, sir. It was a lot of fun. It gets back to what everyone on the offensive line likes to do, which is just hit. It's really, really good to be able to see Caden and Derek be able to run down those holes and get those carries.
Well, and Coach, it looked like to me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here because I'm just seeing highlights, right? But it looked like y'all just went back to basics, helmet to helmet, blasting off the line, which, plays to the strength of these guys. You're all Bricktown. And how much does that add to what the possibilities are down the road with this team?
Well, I think coming back to the belief that these guys have in one another, the trust that they put in the coaches, it pays off because we've talked, since the spring and the summer that adversity is going to hit all of us at some point on or off the field. And, who we are in the moments. And I think that champions respond and they look down the face of adversity and say, okay, we got this. And that's what these guys have done. We've had several key injuries and these guys don't flinch. They receive the coaching. We install the game plan. And I'm not going to lie. I think they like it a little bit when we line up in that tight end package, or even sometimes a 2 tight end package, fullback package. That's one thing, you're talking to Hayden, but right next to him is Kai, who is he's a prototypical, next level fullback, H-back. And so he's been a huge part of seeing guys like Caden and Derek turn out some of these yards in these close district ball games because and then slipping them out of the backfield, having some catches and some just key blocks. And really we've had to be a little bit creative on the offensive side of the ball because let's face it, who we were the first 5.5 games, we've had to change a little bit. But we don't panic, and these guys don't panic, they don't flinch. And so, because we're Bricktown, we feel like we can line up and keep swinging and see what happens. And I think that's what happened the other night. And I know that's what's going to happen the rest of the season, because these seniors know that we're all, the clock is ticking. We're running out of time. And we got to make every practice count. We got to make every memory and every moment count, because the day's coming for everybody. I still remember the last time I took off my shoulder pads and my cleats and took that uniform off for the last time. And that's been many years ago. But the relationships that I built with my brothers and the relationships that I've had with kids over the years now as a coach, that's what's special. And we just want to transfer, leadership is a transfer of belief. We just want to take the things that we've learned and impart them to these teenagers. And I'm thankful and grateful that they've been receptive and they're embracing it. And I think because they're embracing it, these guys are pulling together and they're giving themselves a chance every time we take the field. And I know I'm proud of them for that. And I can't wait to see them play again. I couldn't wait to get on the field today and watch them have a Monday practice. And it was another good Monday practice, and we're proud of them for that. But we got to keep putting those good practices together so we can perform on game night.
Well, I mean, Coach, other than – I'm going to stick with you real quick. But, I mean, a couple of things here or there, and you're looking at a big win record here. I mean, y'all have been in every stinking ball game pretty much. And, for a first year getting a program, changing some things in the program, changing some of the calls, the language, et cetera. I mean, that's pretty darn impressive in of itself. But going towards these playoffs, I mean, y'all have some ball control. I mean, Ty, has done an admirable job at quarterback since coming in. And then Willis, of course, 949 yards thus far on the season. I mean, does that set y'all up for a good playoff run once you hit that?
Well, you forecast and you hope so, right?
Yeah.
I think we become near the team, in the projected playoff run that we need to become if we start talking about playoffs this week. Now, we've told the guys, we've tried to map out scenarios for them, but I think just from experience, when you get too caught up in brackets and scenarios, you cease to become who we need to become on what's today's date, October 26th.
Yeah.
So today, and I hope that doesn't sound like coach cliche, but today we told them that it is us versus us today. Am I right, guys? Like 10 minutes ago, that was the speech. It's us versus us. We've got to become great today or Friday, this Friday or next Friday, or that mythical playoff Friday or Saturday it's not going to be the team you need to become if we don't maximize and squeeze every moment out of today. And so we talked to the guys about making each play a masterpiece, just like an artist does. And so today they did that. Today they went out, we made mistakes, but we made them full speed. We heard these guys as leaders, coaching each other up. We're trying to hand off the baton and not be a coach-led team. We're trying to become a player-led team, because those are the teams that can become really great. And should we do that and handle our business week in and week out, then down the road, you hope that you can have some playoff memories and do some special things. But the way that happens is making today a masterpiece, and these guys did that.
Well, and Chafe, I got the vantage point of, looking ahead a little bit more so than y'all do. But one of the big things down there is, I've heard this from the beginning of the year, Chase, is players being accountable to players being accountable to coaches, coaches being accountable to players, and on so, right? All four ways. And it just seems like that method is working with y'all, and everybody has committed to this. Can you talk about that and how it's affecting y'all as a team as far as, keeping that mindset, not giving in to like listening to somebody like me and looking ahead, but staying focused on the task at hand?
Yes, sir. I mean, we haven't had, much of a problem of having to get people to show up and stuff like that. I feel like that's been a good thing since summer. So the accountability portion of it, it's been pretty easily holding each other accountable, and the coaches make sure that they give us everything that they got every day and we give them everything that we got. I mean, you stack those days on top of each other, and then come Friday night, it shows on the field. And so I feel like coming into these last few district games, getting ready for playoffs, it's really time to just tune it up and up the beat and get ready for the playoffs. Yeah.
That's a good one, man. Well, and Nathan, growing up, coach's son, are you getting those reps in as a coach right now with Tommy and them, and just pointing out little things, being helpful? Because sometimes it feels a little bit different when you're looking from the outside. And how do you think that'll impact your game when you're able to come back on the field?
Well, I've been at practices after I would finish, rehab and stuff. I'd be over there, calling plays, but also next to our offensive coordinator, giving Tommy tips and also kind of looking at it from a different angle, from a coach angle, going like all the plays, different reads and stuff. I think, like you were saying, that can help me this next year, having a deeper understanding of like different concepts and stuff. So I think, it's not fun, but it could be, a blessing in disguise, so I can work on my game.
Well, Kai, Coach mentioned I was going to come back to you about the offensive side, but being able to be slipping out, because you are that hybrid tight end type body, you've got those assets. What has been great about being able to put your knuckles down and just launch off somebody and take them out on the offensive side?
I love hitting people, so that's the great thing about it. And I'll just do anything to have our team in a better situation and help us win. So that's what I love about it.
Well, Hayden, you got this guy over there lined up next to you, right? But the other side of that is in practice, getting to go against each other, and they always talk about iron sharpening iron. How great is it to get to go against these guys, both of you go against each other to make yourselves better as the year continues?
I think it's a really good opportunity for both of us to get better. Like today, whenever we did one-on-ones, pass rush drill, he beat me today, but last week I beat him a couple more times than he beat me.
There's always two versions to the same story, right? But they have fun. Keep talking.
So it allows us to go against some of the best people we'll be able to ever play against.
That's pretty awesome, man. But Coach, I guess we throw out the dummy and have a best on best tomorrow. This one.
At this time of year, I know they'd love to do that, but as coaches, we're trying to use a little bit of wisdom and save that for our Friday nights.
Amen.
Practice hard, but also we try to use a little bit of wisdom. We got to keep these guys healthy because
most definitely
banged up, and everybody this time of year is. And we actually talked to them during athletic period today about getting treatment, wrapping up, taking it up a little bit tighter because everybody's hurting this time of year. And the teams that are left standing and keep advancing are the ones that just, tough people win. Tough TPW, tough people win. So we got to find out a way to play tough, but that doesn't mean that we're going to Oklahoma drill one-on-ones this time of year for sure.
I got you. Well, you got a big game this coming Friday.
I'll give you a whistle and you can run Oklahoma drill one time.
Give me some pads. I might get down there with you. Okay. What the heck are you talking about? I'm old enough not to remember it, so one of these guys can hurt me. But I'll be like a sled for you, Coach. Anyways, got a big game against Venus this week, Coach. What are some of the things you want to see your team improve on this week as you go into this and look for it as the week progresses?
Well, obviously for us, like I said, no matter who's been the next one on the schedule, we have tried to focus on us getting better at our offensive execution, eliminating mistakes, false starts, motions, missed blocking assignments, throwing and catching well, just the overall execution on offense. I think defense, alignment, assignment, attack, hit and wrap. And then I think for us, these guys would say, we showed them this morning on film, Coach Johnson, our defensive coordinator, pulled up some clips that had nothing to do with X's and O's and scheme and strategy and had more to do with just the discipline that championship teams need to have in order to win the close games. And we've had a few that we feel have slipped away from our fingers. And that's not to take away from any teams that we've played, but more, again, we're trying to look in the mirror and it's us versus us. And so, yes, Venus, they've had a little bit of a rough year. I talked to Coach last week but you know what? It's a home game for them. It's probably, I think it's senior night for them. So I guarantee you they're going to bring us their best game. And so we better be ready to strap it on and bring our best and may the best team win. But we've got to clean up some of the things we've been doing here at the end of the year that we feel as a coaching staff are unacceptable and unexcusable. And so again, that's where I say we've got to focus on us getting better. And then when we do that tomorrow on Tuesday and on Wednesday and Thursday, then when we take the field on Friday, hopefully we'll be the best we've been all year in game 9.
Well, Hayden, it seems like, there's been a big buzz about y'all all around football circuit this whole year. Do you feel like y'all are getting – it seems like y'all are getting everybody's best game. Everybody's coming after y'all. That's just the way from an outsider it looks. And y'all are answering the bell. How can y'all make this from a line standpoint even that much better as y'all try to close this thing out and earn a playoff spot?
I think a lot of it is kind of what Coach Greek just said. It's mostly about going over like the little things that we need to fix even more, that we need to go over and practice over and over and over again, whether that's our steps or whether that's blocking assignments or things like that. And just fixing the little issues or what will really propel us forward there.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize, but I think it's 4 or 5 games in a row we've not had the same starting 5 at the line, either because of injury or just something happening. So that chemistry from the front 5 is critical. And again, I think Kai would say after we went from a 3-4 to a 4-man front, I know his game, he is not only him, but we feel like we're on the cusp. I mentioned this earlier, but we're about to turn the corner on getting better at our modified mid-season adjustments. And that's exciting to us. That's why I tell you, I can't wait to get on the practice field and on games and turn these guys loose. And so, yeah, I think we are getting everybody's best, but that's the way it's supposed to be in a big district. And when you feel like you're an up and coming program, I want everybody's best because we need to learn how to match that and bring it, not wait till halftime till we're down 2 or 3 scores, say, oh, we got a game to play. And that's, again, I'm not telling you anything we haven't talked to these guys, but that's the challenge. The challenge is if you want to become great, you got to play the great teams and you got to learn how to do it over and over, week in and week out. And we're learning how to do it a lot of because these guys' leadership.
Well, and Kai, the one thing I've noticed about y'all is, a couple weeks back, me and Coach talked about this. Y'all had a player in as an extra lineman. He switched numbers, so I didn't have him on the roster. He scores a 2-point conversion on a pass play. And it's like everybody is running over there celebrating with him, and it just seems like the joy that y'all have for each other is unmeasurable. How much is this brotherhood it just seems like y'all are this tight. Is that the way it is? And how can that take you for even further?
This is probably one of the best brotherhoods I've had for being on a team. We just do everything together. It's just unmatched.
I'll just say this. They dance in the locker room and they sing in the weight room. They really do love working hard and working out together. And I know that sounds a little bit funny. They're rolling their shoulders, but I don't mind embarrassing teenagers because I think that provides leverage. But I will say this, that they have a genuine love for each other and just are enjoying. And you know what? That makes coming to work as coaches fun too. And I hope that they enjoy practice because, football's a long season. If you do it right, you should be playing into November and Thanksgiving and even Christmas season if you're doing it right. So if it's not fun, we're not doing it. And they have a good time, and we're learning that balance of when to have fun and be silly and when to absolutely come together and go all out. And they're learning that.
Well, Chase, I'm going to leave it up to you, man, because it's always better to play a game with a big old crowd behind you. So get fired up and tell everybody in Ellis County why they should go to Venus to what y'all play this Friday.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
That's okay.
My bad. Everybody should go to Venus because all the hard work is about to come out. Like you said, we're turning that corner where the mid-season changes are about to get that tune-up that I was talking about. And all these Monday through Thursday practices are about to come together. I'm excited for it. So.
Well, Coach, like you said, in Texas high school football, there ain't no cupcakes, like the SEC has at the first of their season. But we wish y'all the best. One game away from clinching a spot, and we hope that we hear about that this coming Friday night.
Thank you, Tater. We appreciate you and all the support that we get here down on the south side of Dallas. And we appreciate DownHome Sports and all you do for kids.
The battle to belong begins here, among the few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, Ellis County, guess what? We got Coach Fawcett and the 30-15 or district-wise 10-3 second place going to the playoffs. Waxahachie Volleyball team. Coach, glad to have you back on. And what an exciting year. I mean, it seems like the girls have just done totally amazing. And I think they've kind of reached some of your expectations thus far, but I know you got more expectations to come. What are some of the great things that you've seen from this season?
Well, I'm going to go back to the game on Friday night. I thought we started off pretty well. We had some adversity. We had Taylor Cavazos go out with an injury when we were planning on running a 6-2. And so that kind of caused us to make some tweaks in our offense. And but when we played on Friday, I just felt like everything came together. I know we suffered a difficult loss. We lost 15-13 in the fifth set, but there were so many positives that came out of that night that I think that's really something to build on as we go into the playoffs and start facing some tough teams. It was just, I was so pleased. Other than the last 2 minutes of the game, I couldn't have been more thrilled. That was one of the best, most fun games I've ever coached. Just the kids responded well. It was a highly competitive match from both sides and just saw a lot of positive.
Well, it just seems like your girls are fighting for every point. I mean, during the Duncanville game, okay, there was a rally that went probably 20 times across the net before anybody could declare a point. I mean, you've got to love that kind of fight.
Absolutely. I think that's something that I've always admired in our teams. Typically strong defensive teams, they'll get after it. They're fun to watch.
Well, we also got juniors, Amber Morgan and Maddie Fuller with us. And we'll start with Amber. I saw this and I'm just like, all I could think of was ABBA when I saw some stats on you because you are the digging queen. Okay. I mean, 324 digs on the year, pretty darn amazing for a setter, Talk about that and just the attitude. I mean, you probably have dug out so many balls that you don't even get bruises anymore.
As a setter, I've always admired collegiate athletes whose defense was always as well as their setting game. And that's something that I've strived to make myself as good as and make that a key part of my playing as well. So I just try and defend back row and help the other DSs out as well. And I mean, you get bruises and burns every now and then, but that's part of it. And I would say defense is probably part.
Well, Maddie, 31% on your kills, 247 on the year. Outside hitting, come on, girl. You are bringing the heat. Just talk about, getting those great sets and being able to load up from that left-hand side and just let loose.
Yes, definitely. Outsides usually are somewhat they have to be more consistent and they're kind of, more reliable to where middles are. You're running more fast-paced balls and right side, you're running trick plays and things. And outside, you just got to stay consistent and get those more out of system, higher set balls over. And so, yeah, I just try to always be that person that, when you need to finish the ball, you can go to me or, just try to keep it in play for us.
Well, and I don't think people understand either. You can bring the heat, don't get me wrong, okay? But then you can also put a little touch on it every once in a while. And just the athleticism on going up and faking them out with the swing and then extending that arm and putting that touch on it. How much body control do you have to pull that off?
Yes, it's definitely a different feel. You kind of have to figure out what type of approach and things you really need to fake them out, go up like you're going to take a good hard swing. But it's also you got to take into account the set that you're getting and where it's going to be placed and what's the best option, where's the smartest place to put it. So,
well, Coach, one of the big things about your program, and I think one of the biggest reasons y'all have so much success is the IQ about the sport that y'all impart to the girls. Just talk about how that has been, to the point where y'all are having these great season after great season for 20 years.
Well, as far as their IQ, we work very hard on, like Amber was just talking about with her hitting game. during practices, we say, okay, if they're running a rotation defense, this is what's going to be open. If they run a perimeter defense, this is what's going to be open. And then we practice those specific shots. We tell them that it's not always about hitting harder. Sometimes it's about hitting smarter. And so, taking those finesse shots when you have the opportunity, if they're not covering tips, then we need a tip. If they have their defense dropped back, then we need to put more finesse balls in. They do a very good job of that.
Well, and, one of the big things for me in watching y'all's team over the years has been, just the camaraderie on the bench. Everybody is hanging on everything. I've never seen one of your teams in all the years I've watched y'all ever give up on a point on the bench, not just on the court, but on the bench. Every player is into it every touch. Just talk about how that camaraderie has been built and has become just basically the fiber of your program.
Well, we constantly talk about it being this is a team sport. And I don't think there's anything that, I don't know if there's another sport that can have swings and momentum like volleyball does. It's really important that we stay up because we know at any moment, a big play by the other team can swing the momentum. So sometimes we're just like, hey, the next play, we've got to celebrate big. We've got to make sure that we're keeping that momentum where it needs to be. And we constantly talk about, the 6 people on the court at any given time. That's just a representation of all of us and who we are. And everyone contributes and everyone's important because we wouldn't have, you can't push each other unless you have someone right behind you, that's trying to get on the court. And so I think that they do a really good job of recognizing that it is competitive, but at the same time being able to be supportive. And we do these teammate stickers once or twice a week where we just try to acknowledge some of those things. It sounds kind of silly. When I first did it, I thought they're not gonna like stickers, and I've been doing it for 30 years now. But it's really an opportunity for them to stand up and say something good about their teammates. And it may be about the support they got or helping somebody with homework. And it may be someone that came in for them off the bench and did a great job. And they always recognize those players that maybe don't get a lot of time or that came in and did a great job. So I think that goes a long way.
Well, I mean, you've had one of your players that's been out for a while, Taylor, getting back into the swing of things. And I'm sure, there's those players that, during the season of volleyball, you're going to have bumps, injuries and stuff like that. But how important has it been for Taylor to be there and be a part? Because she ain't missing nothing. If she can be there, she's going to be there. But how important has that been for y'all to have that kind of leadership being shown and to show what you have to play through?
Well, I think early on, Taylor was playing with an injury for a long time. Yeah. And it wasn't getting better. So that's when we made the decision that we maybe needed to look at it a little bit more seriously. But, yeah, we don't see her at practice all the time because she's going to rehab. She's in the training room doing what she needs to do to get back for the team. And in her absence, like Emma Border stepped in, did a great job setting for us. So, of course, Maddie and Abby, excuse me. Yeah, cut that. Maddie and Emma did a great job running the 6-2. And then for setting consistency, we went to a 5-1 with Maddie, and then she did a great job with that. So, just depending on the scenario that we're looking at, we have to be prepared for other players to step in because they're not always going to be consistent. It's just not the reality of it.
Well, and, we'll go back up to the ladies for a quick second. Well, and Amber, the team at a 33.3% kill. I mean, that means everybody's swinging it. How big of a fun time is it when everybody is just bringing the heat and causing havoc on the other team?
Well, we definitely are a team that feeds off of each other and momentum based. And so when everyone's up, we're all up, and we have great seniors that lead, especially Jakaya. She's one of our biggest hitters, and she just really gets momentum going, and blocking especially, and just getting those huge swings that, no one's even near. They really boost us up, and we can get on really good runs.
Maddie, let's talk about setting, okay? How is the first serve really setting you off for success on your sets?
The first serve that you give to the other team really determines what kind of ball you're going to get back. And with our team having an aggressive serving game, I think that really sets us up for either an easy ball to return or a ball that I can get my feet around and give a good set to where they can kill it or keep it in play. But the serve is a big part of how successful you're going to be on the pass that you give to the setter. And I think with the serve, it allows me to get a good set and give a good ball to the hitters to put away.
Well, Maddie, we're going to stick with you, and Amber, we're going to come right back to you, okay? But Maddie, who's that person before a match that gets you fired up? And how do they do
I would
it?
have to say Jakaya.
Okay, well, how does Jakaya do it?
Anytime. She's just always very loud, and when I have doubts for myself, she's always picking me up, and she just is always fired up, even if it's not her that gets a good set. But before a game, I would go to her, and she's always yelling at me and like giving me good spirits before the game.
Gotcha. What about you, Amber?
Yeah, I would have to say Jakai too, but we have a Ready, which is our pre-game ritual. It's been a tradition for as long as I can remember. Everyone has done it that I've talked to, but we kind of go out and we have this special routine, and there's a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, a lot of, getting hyped up before we go out there and play and making sure we do things right and come out with the intensity we need. And Jakai is really a great leader during that time, and she's making sure everyone's being an active part of it. So yeah, definitely.
Coach, what does it say about these young ladies when they acknowledge the leadership up there? And just these young ladies seem like they've bought in, and you have to be in your program, but just even taking it a step further, they honor the people that have said things, to begin with.
Absolutely. So I said this the other day in a team meeting that, you'll never have a good team without good, strong senior leadership. And so that's kind of an expectation we set on. If you've been in this program since seventh grade, you gradually get more responsibilities and you earn more respect. And so by the time they're seniors, they really know what the expectations are, and I think they want to step into that role. And kind of forge a path for everyone else to follow. And then it kind of just feeds off each other. So when this junior group comes up next year, I'm sure they'll do the same thing because they had great role models right before them.
Well, Coach, you got one more game in the regular season. You're at home Tuesday versus DeSoto. When should we expect, first playoff game? We want to fill that stand up, for that DeSoto and in this thing on a really good note. But when should we expect that first playoff game so people can start putting it on their calendars, things like that?
Yeah, well, it has to be played Monday or Tuesday, November 1st and 2nd, I believe. Those are the dates. So we're open on Friday. We'll be playing a warm-up game, but I'm not going to leave too many. I'm not going to give you too many details on that for obvious reasons. But just to get a little bit more playing time under our belt. But Monday or Tuesday. So, and we'll go down and play one of the 4 teams coming out of that Killeen district. So that's Bryan, Harker Heights. That's who we played last year. So that's who we're going to pick up the first round.
Awesome. Well, ladies, can y'all explain something to me, okay? And we're going to go with Maddie first. Why are volleyball coaches so superstitious? Okay, I do radio broadcasts for them, and we can't get a roster before a game until like 30 seconds before the game. We get a roster. What is the thing about being so superstitious in volleyball, Maddie?
That's something that I've always questioned myself. I have several superstitions. I know Riley, our senior libero, has so many superstitions. But I guess it would just have to be something along the lines of, we have a routine, and if that's what's been working for the season, then we wouldn't want anything to maybe impact how we play. But I don't know. I have always had questions myself, but it seems to be working.
So what's one of your superstitions?
Okay, wait, Maddie, is it Riley's shoes?
Yes, it's Riley's shoes, and every time before the game, she has to warm up right by the coaches.
And Riley's my.
Oh, okay.
It's at certain times during the partner warm-ups. We can only be on certain sides. We have to be on the very right of the court. She can't walk, can't change her shoes, can't do any of that.
I don't know if her shoes are going to make it through the season, to tell you the truth. I mean, I told her I'd bring her some shoe goo, and maybe we can make them survive.
Well, so what are your ladies' superstitions? Maddie?
This is going to be really bad, but every season we get a brand new pair of knee pads, and when season starts, over.
Oh my goodness.
And
Amber, what about you?
I'm not really superstitious at all. I don't think I really have any specific game day rituals, honestly. I usually wear my hair in a braid. But, you know, if I don't end up doing that, then I don't think it's a big deal. But yeah, that would be it. My hair, putting my hair up.
Your hair? That's not a bad one. But Coach, you know, one of the things is, I know, you know, these ladies have been competitive all year long, but how much fun has this group actually been? It seems like maybe just a little bit more energy, not necessarily energy, but a little bit more smiles, a little bit more giggling sometimes. Just talk about, you know, what makes the group have this much fun this year?
You know, these are just great kids because they play for each other. We don't have a lot of selfishness on this team. I don't think anyone's in it for their personal glory. And just to see them interact in such a positive way and come to practice with great attitudes, it's just, there's nothing not to smile about, you know. I know sometimes it becomes a grind, and we push them pretty hard, but they do it the right way. And that's what's so fun about coaching. You know, we have the right kids. So absolutely love them.
Well, and ladies, I'm going to come back to y'all one last time. Maddie, what does it mean to you to represent Waxahachie Volleyball game in, game out?
Oh, it means a whole lot to me, because I remember when I was younger, I would always look up to the varsity girls or the whole Waxahachie volleyball program in general, and to be able to fulfill the role that I always dreamed of playing in, and to know that little girls like I did admire me just means a lot, that I can be a role model for them and set an example of what it's like to be a Waxahachie volleyball player and to play for the community, knowing that we have their undivided support. Just means a whole lot. You know, we're not only playing for the team and ourselves, but for everyone around the city as well. Just means a lot.
Amber, you know, you have these little girls that come out and watch y'all. What does it mean to you to be a role model for them, to set the expectations of being first class on the court and being first class at school and being a first class person outside?
Yes, it's definitely a big responsibility. You know, we have a lot of people that look up to us, and almost a pressure, but it comes with, you know, being in a great program like this, and it helps keep us accountable, keep us knowing that, you know, there's always someone watching, and we're really lucky to be in the position that we are and not to take it for granted.
Well, awesome. Well, Coach, what you know, there's a reason why you bring these ladies on, and can you just talk about these two in particular for just a moment?
These two. I'll take Maddie first. Okay, Maddie's a setter. Obviously, I spend a lot of time with setters, and middles, because we have to work their timing out. But so we develop a very unique relationship. I push them hard, sometimes very intensely, and it just, I think because of that relationship, we get to go to a whole different level. And it usually takes them a while. It usually takes them a while to understand that intensity that I bring to the game. It's not directed at them. It's at the game and wanting to get certain things done. But Maddie has a wonderful sense of humor. She's really, really witty. I get her and her sister mixed up all the time. They're twins. I'm a twin. And so I'm thinking I can tell them apart because I'm a twin. And sometimes I look at her. One time I started talking to her sister and I went, dang it, no, that's the wrong one, Maddie. And then she'll go, I'm over here. And I think the other day they were playing together, and I thought, it kind of brought me back to when I used to play with my sister, would be peppering, and I'm looking at those two, and they get along really well, and it's a really neat relationship. But yeah, absolutely loved her to death. And then Amber we brought up, gosh, Amber, when did we bring you up?
I don't even.
At the very beginning of your sophomore year, when did we bring you up?
I think so.
It was pretty early.
It was pretty
I played most
early.
of the district games, I think.
Well, Amber, I feel like I've known you forever. I don't know why. Because it was first that I knew Kate, and so it's like extended my relationship with you by an extra 2 years. But I remember you in junior high, and you know what I remember about you? I remember about you like passing a perfect ball all the time. And I remember going, look at that Amber, look at that Amber. She's passing a perfect ball. So Amber's just super talented. She's super smart. I don't know if you know, you're number one in your class, right?
Yes, ma'am.
See, I don't even know how she can even talk to me and understand what I'm saying because she's that smart. But no, Amber, she does a great job. She's really, really hard on herself. So we have a lot of conversations about not trying to be perfect and going out there and relaxing and playing because she's so talented and so capable. These two are both like that. So I just enjoy them both a lot.
That's
awesome. I love
awesome.
you guys. You're great.
Well, Maddie, let's switch the roles here. Okay. Let's talk about coach for a second. Everybody gets to see, a coach in the middle of the heat of battle. They don't get to see those conversations back in the office, those one-on-one times. How much has coach meant to you, not only with your development on the court, but helping you develop as a young woman?
Coach Fawcett, I don't even know if there's enough words that I could describe the impact she's made on me as a person and as a player as well. Last year being my first year that she's been able to coach me, like she said, it takes a while to build the relationship and to understand the intensity she brings and that it's only to make you a better player. I think that's something I came to realize this season, that she wants nothing but the best for me and for me to reach my full potential as a player. And I think that's just something I really admire, how much she cares about each individual player. And that's something that not a lot of coaches I've had in the past have showed me. And as a person, she's someone that I can always go to for anything and she's going to give me advice. I go into the office, we talk about how I play. She's always giving me things that I can do to be better. And I just think the relationship that we have is something that not a lot of players can say that with their coaches. And that's something that I will forever be grateful for, and just the relationship that we've built over the past 2 years.
Well, Amber, what about you?
As Fawcett said before, I feel like we have known each other for a long time, having my older sister in this program. And just at a young age, I feel, even in my freshman year, I went into her office and talked to her a lot. And, I'm really comfortable talking to her. And I feel like she just really knows me as a player. And she can tell the moment I step on the court, what kind of game I'm going to have, what kind of mindset I have without even asking me. And so, I am a perfectionist and I do get mad at myself for lots of things, but she does a really good job of, getting the point across and, saying, hey, if you keep doing this, you're going to get mad at yourself and like you need to step out of it, go out there and play. And, I feel like she really understands the people that she coaches and she really builds great relationships with all of her players.
But Coach, we want to thank y'all for coming on. Ladies, Amber, Maddie, thank you so much for coming on. We really do appreciate it. Coach, thank you not only for what you do for the sport of volleyball at Waxahachie, but throughout the county. The example that you set out there, the way that you work with these young ladies, being around the area, you and Coach Porter are two of the best coaches I've ever had the privilege to be around. And it's always an honor because I think volleyball everybody needs to get an understanding, folks. This is not an easy sport to play. Okay. Go out there and try it sometime when they do these 4v4s. That's all I'm going to say. The only thing I can cover on the court, Coach, is if I lay down on it. So that's about it. Well, ladies, thank y'all so much for joining us. Good luck on Tuesday night. Finish this thing strong for us. And let's see how far y'all, how about round 4 and a little bit more this year? How's that sound?
Do you know the difference?
Well, the best benefit in having true benefits is the fact that they're easy. You can get a hold of them. It's not 2 days later, a week later, I can make a phone call If they don't have the answer, they'll get us the answer within 24 hours.
He came to the office and interviewed all of our girls and did a presentation, told them what they were offering, and the girls were able to decide what they needed.
They came in and gave us options both for our company and our employees that were affordable and beneficial for all.
No matter the size of your business or your employees' needs, True Texas Benefits is the partner for you.
Because Ellis County knows the difference.
True Texas Benefits for all your benefits needs.
Well, guess what, Ellis County? 5-3, 4-1. We got the Panthers right here. We got Coach Wendell. We got Jordan Richburg, and we got the big bear, Bryce Starling. Coach, I know you got to be happy with the season thus far. It's never as good as every coach wants it, but making the playoffs and already being locked in has to feel good at this earliest stage.
Well, we're playing well. We won 3 in a row, and through those 3 games, we played pretty good against Centennial, played okay against Red Oak. There were flashes of greatness against Red Oak, but I thought this last game, and at this point in the season, you expect it, but I thought this last game was our most complete game. It wasn't perfect, but our most complete from a special teams and offensive and defensive standpoints, putting them all together. We just got to continue to seek to improve. We've got a lot to play for, obviously, this week, trying to place in district and have a home playoff game, having a winning record secured for 4 years in a row. So there's a lot of positives and a lot of motivation to play this week, obviously. And you know, we're 99% in the playoffs, but there's still that one little glitch out there that we want to make sure that we control what our own destiny, not rely on other people.
Well, at least it ain't like last year. Okay. That's
right. That's right.
Well, Jordan, I mean, you know, coach has talked about you all season as far as, you know, what you've brought to the team. And I mean, 309 yards, you're averaging 8.4, 5 TDs. It just seems like you touch it, you're ready to go to the house. Talk about, you know, what the coaching staff has done to get you to this point so far and how you can even take it that one more step further.
Well, the coaching staff, they've been really supportive throughout for me because I just came back this year after the season of COVID because I did not participate that season. So at the beginning, it was a real struggle for me, just learning and getting back into the old flow of things. But the coaches stuck with me and they really helped me out, just being on my butt about just learning the plays and getting things right. And it really helped me, and kind of it's just me looking forward to hit my goals each game, having at least 1 touchdown each game and a good amount of yards. My overall goal for this season is to have 1,000 rushing yards, and I'm feeling confident that I will be able to accomplish that in the playoffs. So,
very nice. Well, Bryce, we'll go through your stats. I mean, it says you got 2 sacks, 22 solos, and 2 assists. But let me tell you, you're funneling people. I don't think anybody wants to run up the middle anymore. You and Tompkins, I mean, y'all get more false starts calls by just moving around because they don't know what to do with y'all. But just talk about that defensive line real quick. I mean, you got a 5-person rotation in there, really, and y'all are just in a different gear.
Yeah, I love our unit. I love the defensive line. We're all brothers. We love each other, and I just feel we're a young defensive line, so I feel like that helps us get along together. We're all going to be back next year, which I think is a great thing. And we got 1 sophomore that we're able to get on, but he's keeping up with the rest of us and he's doing his job. And I think our unit's doing real great this year. We could always do more. We could always get better. And we're able to do this because Coach Horner and Coach Suter are on our tails every day about getting better, but we appreciate it. We're going to appreciate that by the end of the year.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach, I mean, it's got to do you good hearing this from these young guys, right? Being underclassmen and just saying that they got another step in them on that defensive line. And then Jordan, you know, I mean, he's anchoring himself to become a better back every day. How does that set with the entire team philosophy and what the team has been able to do so far?
So these guys are just a microcosm of what our team is. We've got a lot of unselfish guys. We've got a lot of high character guys that come out that just want to be really good, and they and the vast majority of them really take a lot of pride in being a Midlothian Panther and and understand what they're representing and wanting to set a new standard for wins, new standard for expectations and those types of things. But both of them have great character. Both of them have great work ethic. And the other thing that they both have is they both have great attitudes. I've seen either one of those two guys, Jordan or Bryce, over the last 2 or 3 years, be in a bad mood. They come in excited about being in the weight room. They come in excited about going to practice. And that obviously permeates throughout the locker room. They're leaders, and their character speaks volumes, and people listen and follow.
Well, and it seems like, your quarterback, Chad Regal, this year has, really done an excellent job running that offense. And I know a lot of people look at that and say, well, he should have pitched it here or there. But it seems to me like he's making some really good decisions and, not putting himself in a position to turn the ball over, but just get those extra 3 yards. That's always been a mainstay of the Panther offense. But how is his progression helping the team as y'all get ready to try to stave off anybody taking that second place from you?
Well, I'll say this about Chad, or the quarterback position. There's no quarterback that's ever played here, and there's not ever going to be a quarterback here or anywhere else that doesn't make mistakes. When you're running whether it's the zone option or the veer option like we run, or a little bit of both, or what the colleges are running, mistakes on reads. So we don't concern ourselves too much with that. We obviously want to get them fixed and corrected, but Chad has improved weekly. His biggest. He's another one that has good character. He's another one that puts the Panthers before himself. He never even looks. He doesn't know how many touchdowns he scored, doesn't know his rushing record. He doesn't know how many passes he throws. I don't think he cares what position he plays. He just likes being a part of the team. And I think that unselfishness has helped him. And then the other thing is, I don't think he doesn't feel pressure. He's just trying to be himself, and I think that's really helped Chad a lot. And he's progressed, man. He's the thing that I'll say about him. He's very decisive when he decides to run. He's not tippy toeing or dancing, or he's not afraid to get hit. He lowers his head, goes in there, and gets those extra yards. And that's the epitome of what we've put on the field since I've been here is tough quarterbacks. And he's doing a good job of doing what we ask him to do.
Well, and Jordan, does it not make you want to put it out there? I mean, last week, you have about a 45-yard run for a touchdown. What looked like to me was going to be a touchdown. It got called back, put on the 3. But, y'all are giving your bodies up like crazy. You got a person like Diego Benson that is out there blocking in front of you, who's a great rusher of his own. But I saw Diego clear 2 people out on that run ahead of you. Just talk about that unselfishness from that offensive unit.
I think for our offensive unit, it's all about love for each other. So really, we want to provide for each other more than we provide for ourselves with, just providing that block or pushing them to get that extra yard. I think we're a close knit. We're like brothers to where, we'll fight on the field, but in the end of the day, we'll get it together and fight for each other. And I feel like you can see that many times in a game where if one of us is getting pushed down or backed up, you'll see one of us come over and defend them and kind of help them with that. So I think we're very close to brothers, and we're just providing for each other to help each other shine in whatever way we can.
Well, Bryce, y'all see film on people. It seems like everybody's trying to get that ball out quickly, because they know the 4 of y'all are going to be coming down their throats. But, how has that made it to where y'all are relying on each other more, holding those lanes? It just seems like y'all are doing a good job of lane responsibility every single play.
Yes, sir. That's one of the things the coaches preach during practice: lane responsibility. Do your job, because if on defense, if you don't do your job, that's a touchdown. Like we take that to heart, and we know that if we don't do what we need to do, and if we try to do somebody else's job, it's going to end up right. So I just think that it's great that the coaches tell us this every day, and put us on track if we do something wrong.
Well, Coach Wendell, Bryce has to have the biggest hands of any Panther I've ever seen. That's why I started calling him Big Bear. I mean, when you see these defensive guys right now, I mean, your team is built on ball control, time consumption to your favor, and just a good, solid running game. I mean, in one game, you threw one pass and still beat a really good team. How much does that play into your philosophy and show people, hey, we can do this the Midlothian way?
Yeah, I think if you looked at, the entire season, you'd probably say that I've been a little bit more conservative than I have in the past, especially on fourth downs. I think we can punt the ball. I think play defense. I think we get people off the field. We defer more than we have in the past before the games, and that's because we have confidence in the defense. And that they're really, really good, and especially against Red Oak. And what I think you start to see, I think we've gone 2 games where the defense scored a touchdown now. Tyler Knight has gotten both of those actually, but not only are they doing their job and playing assignment football, and they're just a solid defense that they're hard to march the ball down the field on, they're making impactful plays in the game. And we need those players on the field to give them that opportunity. So that's why we're deferring, and that's why I'm punting and playing field position and that type of stuff.
Well, and Jordan, are y'all kind of in a race now? Is the defense y'all going to make sure y'all outscore the defense this year? I mean, it just seems like they're coming up with big plays. Does that not get you all fired up as an offensive team, especially the offensive line? You got a short field. Let's just helmet on helmet, ramming down their throat and driving the end zone. Does that play not just get you totally fired up?
I think it definitely gets us fired up because I feel like more for the offense, it comes off as we're being less physical than the defense in that aspect. So I think it comes down to who wants to contact more and who just wants to fight to get that extra little bit of whatever is needed.
Well, and Bryce, you're going up against a pretty good offensive line in practice every day. You're going to hear coaches say this, and it's the truth. Iron sharpens iron. How great is it to go up against some good defensive like Joe Brock Cavender? I mean, when you're in practice, does that make you better? And how does it make you better?
It definitely makes me better going against definitely the top guards in our district, I believe. And it just makes me better because we're able to learn off each other. So during practice, we don't, if we're going against each other, we don't like each other. But after practice, we're able to talk to each other and tell us what we did wrong, why he did this, why he did that. And him being a senior, him going against other great defensive tackles, he's able to tell me all the things I need to pick up on or habits I need to let go of.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question, okay, because I've known Joe Brock for a while. Oklahoma drill, how bad you going to tear him up?
I'm taking him in Oklahoma drill.
Okay, there we go.
I think it's
Coach,
close.
I got you, man. Well, Coach, I mean, it seems like the team's having fun this year. I know you say you've been a little bit more conservative. I think you've actually thrown the ball a little bit more this year. Just seems that way. But just seems like this team has found a joy with each other, and found a joy with the coaching staff. As you just see everybody, not necessarily, going goofy and all that stuff, but having a good love. You can tell the passion from the players, the passion from the coaches for this team. Can you just talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, for our program, it starts with relationships, and it starts with, everybody goes through the same thing through the boot camp and the off-season, summer program and all that type of stuff. And we spend some time talking early on in the year, and then I try to remind them throughout the course of the season that, you put a lot of work into this for only a short amount of time, and you get 10 nights guaranteed to you. And sometimes that doesn't work out because of an injury or something like that. Take advantage of the time together and take advantage of the time that you get the opportunity to compete against other people and just go out there and perform at a high level on Fridays. And I will say that it's been an enjoyable year for me because of growth and seeing the guys come together. I know Bryce was, but probably less than 6 or 7 kids were on that roster last year on Friday nights. And so you've got so many new kids that are going out there to gel a whole new team together. It's been rewarding. It's been and when you're that young, you usually make progress pretty fast. And we've made big strides offensively. We've made big strides defensively, and I'm excited about the future, obviously. But we're focused on this year and this week, and trying to get in the playoffs and do something in the playoffs. And I certainly don't want the season to end. I think the weather's about to break, and we're going to get to have a lot of fun out there in 70-degree weather. And we want guys going as long as they can. And you're right, it's not fake. They are enjoying each other, and they do have a passion about playing together as a family. And that's not fake or coerced. It's genuine. You see it every day. Come up with this little patting everybody on the helmet that they like to do. And one of the big things we do all through the off season and stuff, and I think this is important, is just about every day we hug as a team. And I think that's brought us closer together. I think it's important and a big part of what our program's about.
Well, Jordan, y'all got a big game coming up this Friday, Summit. So, one of the big things is y'all play great in front of big crowds when the home crowd's there. Fire it up. Give me your best Michael Irvin, and tell all those Panther fans why they need to be over in Mansfield this coming Friday night.
I would say this is probably one of our most important games. This can determine if we have a home playoff game. So we'd like for everybody to come out and support like you did last week and just cheer us on. We're hoping to win, and I'm not going to reveal any secrets, but we've got a good team and we're pretty solid when we work together.
Well, and Bryce, how much louder are we going to get this crowd for y'all when y'all are having defense stand on third down, man? Y'all need to get them fired up. We don't need Coach White running up and down the sidelines. I saw you out there waving them big old paws up in the air. So tell these people why they ought to help you out on third downs, bud.
Friday night's going to be a big night for us. We're going to need y'all to be loud on third downs. We're going to need y'all to be loud as possible. We're going against a real good team, and we need all the help we can get. And with y'all support, I believe we can do it.
Well, and Coach, one of the big things we've talked about in the past is just your coaching staff. You've got a tight group there. You got a couple of new faces recently, but it seems like the core of your coaching staff is just right there. And just talk about those guys for just a second before we get off here, and how that close-knit group has really helped get this team and the program to where it's at right now.
Well, I think, continuity is very, very important. I think people are always in a hurry to want to fire coaches at the college and pro level and stuff, but you can see why continuity is such a big deal for us. Our defensive line unit is really, really special. Their bond is special, and that's intentional because of Coach Irwin and because of what Coach Suter do. I think the job that I think he's been with us now for 5 years. Coach Limley has done a phenomenal job every year, but this is probably the best that he's done as far as taking all new guys and putting them together. And I just think this is the best he's done. And he's changed with the type of kids that we have and really evolved. And I'm really proud of the work that he's done. Coach Crumbaker works his tail off and is so positive and patient with kids brand new, like a Chad Regal and a Jordan Richburg. I mean, these kids came in and didn't know anything about what we were going to do this year. And he's been positive. And, we had certainly different plans of the way the direction of the offense was going to go last spring and summer. And that changed. And we're going with what gives us the best opportunity to win. And he knows what that is and has found a way. And Coach Carbo's been with the offensive line now. I think this is his 7th year. He came in with me. So that continuity is always important, especially at that. Just really proud of the men that we've assembled as a staff, both on and off the field. They're great guys and great character men. I think Dean Young and Philip Paramore have a special connection with the secondary that's made a difference, impact on our defense as well.
Well, and you got a lot of players that, may not be on the stat sheets and stuff. We've talked about this a little bit, Mikael Denton and stuff, guys that are just doing such a good job that you don't end up on a stat sheet, But no, Coach, we know the offense takes a little bit of time during the season. And as they were starting to look the other night, it's getting there. We wish you the best this coming Friday. And hopefully y'all can stay in that number 2 spot and not have any wrinkles and have a home playoff game pretty soon. Thank y'all so much for joining us, guys, and we'll holler at you later.
Pinnacle Bank is here to help our community grow by partnering with local real estate agents and developers to bring the services we need.
There's so much happening here, and we're able to get Pinnacle Bank to join up with us. They've got a location at the Midlothian Crossing, and Christy, you're doing a great job. Debbie, you too. I love, for me as a local broker, is to bring local people to you as a prospect, and to show that you're part of the community.
So talk with someone you can trust about commercial loans and business services. Pinnacle Bank, not just a bank in Texas, but Texas in a bank. Member FDIC.
The battle to belong begins here, among the few, the proud, the Marines.
Well, guess what, Ellis County? We got a good one for you right now. We got Maypearl Football, 5-2, 3-1 in district. And they're, guess what, headed to the playoffs. Say it again, headed to the playoffs. We got Coach Reapy, Coach Olson, Dylan Peck, and Aaron Jett. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here tonight. Coach Reapy, let's talk about it, man. 3-1 in district, heading to the playoffs. Got to feel good.
We do. We got Whitney this week. They're a good opponent, but we think we can pull off another victory, hopefully, and then secure a better seeding inside besides 4th place. So I think everyone's excited about it. It's good to build on last year's momentum and now have 2 in a row, 2 playoff appearances in a row. Moving forward into next year also.
Well, and Aaron, I mean, you working both, all y'all are going to be working both sides of the field, but wide out, running back, cornerback. What has been the thing about the offense this year that's really got y'all fired up?
I mean, we've spread the ball around a lot. We're excited about our quarterback play, our running backs. We have 3 guys that can run the football. We just have everything working for us right now, and we're really fueled by the defense, defensive stops, good field position, turnovers. And we really, our offensive drives are built off of our defensive drives. So we feel really good about it.
Well, and Dylan, I mean, on that line, either side as well, is it just pin your ears back, put helmet to helmet and knock somebody down? I mean, y'all got to play some Maypearl, giving y'all a stack of pancakes for everyone you get on a Friday night?
Yes, sir. So we joke about bringing syrup to the games for our pancakes that we get. But basically, we have a pretty young O-line, I'm not going to lie. But I think we're doing a great job. I'm proud of our tackles, both freshmen that are starting on varsity. And I think we're doing a pretty great job this season.
Well, Coach Olson, I mean, you're talking about a young line there. And, of course, offensively, the line, last thing to get – normally that comes together. It seems like your offense is taking the steps throughout the season. How has that upper class leadership really helped those freshmen?
Yeah, so I mean, with regards to the line, Dylan Peak has done a phenomenal job. It helps that he's our center. It also helps that he's really smart and got outstanding work ethic. So it's real easy to lean on Dylan for a guy that's played a lot of games on varsity since he was a sophomore. So he's been there. And then just he's a very encouraging guy who's stepped out of his comfort zone. Last year, we were real senior heavy on the line. He was a junior who played a lot. And he didn't have to be a vocal guy. And that's not even necessarily his nature, but I can see, one of the best things about being a leader is someone who realizes what they have to do in order to be a great leader. And Dylan, who might not be the most vocal guy, is doing that this year. And I've told him privately and publicly how proud I am of him. Another guy that's really stepped in and did a good job on the O-line leading has been Crew Patton, who was a junior varsity guy for us last year. And Crew, I mean, man, I'm really proud of him and all those guys, the Young Bucks, Landon Rayford, Ryder Merritt, Brian Fisher, Jathan Esselman, Ethan Laura, all those guys have played. So we got 7 guys that we can roll in at O-line.
Well, and Coach Reapy, I mean, you talk about offense, defense, but your special teams has done an excellent job. We don't want to leave them out. It seems like they've really come on this season. I mean, you had a Heath Racler return for a touchdown in one of the games, and it just seems like a kicking solid. Nobody talks about a kicking game till you don't have one, So, talk about that special teams unit and how they've added to the success of the Maypearl football team.
Coach Martin's done a really good job with special teams this year in all phases. The kickoff unit's been really good. Nathan Garcia does a good job of doing what we ask him to do. He doesn't have the leg that, Winningham did last year, but he's still doing exactly what we need him to do, putting the ball in the right spots, allowing our kids to get down there and, pin the offense, back, and then he's doing a really good job punting. And we're doing a really good job on that unit of going down there. I know he's got at least 5 to 6 punts inside the 20, which is big. And then allows the defense, to kind of pin their ears back and play a little more aggressively. So special teams been big. We missed a couple extra points. We're gonna need a field goal or two moving into this week and next week to win the game.
Well, and Aaron on the defensive side, does not having that field position battle and having a good kicker really help y'all out to pin them back a little bit further and to be able to kind of exploit, a limited playbook?
Oh, it helps for sure. I mean, we can really dial it up, especially when, the other team started inside their 10 every drive. It helps for sure. And the defensive backs, you can play more aggressively, can make more plays on the ball. We can blitz. We can do a lot of stuff out of not worrying about the other team being in our red zone or starting on the 50 every drive. It really does help.
Well, and Dylan, jump to you real quick, man. Other than leaving your shoes and not having them for the last game, smartest guy on the field. So just a question for you. I'm sorry, I had to get that one in there, boys.
Hey, that's fine.
It's no problem. Yep.
He's supposed to be a senior. He shouldn't forget his shoes.
He needs to hear about that one a little bit more. You can drop that one in about 2 more times if you want.
I think we're done.
Well, Dylan, but whose shoes were you feeling that night? Okay. And then second, on that defensive side of the line, when you're getting in there on that, talk about the rotation and how you are backing each other up.
So we have a bunch of diversity, I guess, on our D line. We have guys that can get around, they're quick, not as strong, but they're quick, and that's what they focus on. We have guys that can just go straight and can maul over some people. And having that diversity and depth, I think that helps us because we always have fresh guys to go in at D line and get the box more ready to go.
Okay, well, Coach Olson, having that rotation that y'all do on that D line, you got a lot of players kind of going both ways on this team. And it seems like you got a little bit of depth there on the team that's really helping out with keeping everybody fresh.
Yeah, so 2 guys that play tight end for us are big wide, Tristan Rivera and Garrett Baggett. I mean, those guys come in, and we actually, in the Madison game, we Coach Peach, our OC, and I were joking about it the other day that both those guys caught passes. Well, Tristan and Garrett do a lot for us on defense. So the ability to play those tight end bodies on offense, have them be starters on defense, and then Ethan Laura playing left tackle and playing linebacker for us. Yeah, those guys are all in that kind of middle range where they're big skill athletes that can run and they're strong. And I mean, with what we do on defense, the amount of we can play base or we can move around and we need fast athletes who can think and do stuff like that on the fly. And Coach Reapy schemes it up, and that's what they're able to do. So we have a real solid rotation with all that. And even Homer, the one-armed man right now, the walking TFL, Homer Arizpe, I mean, he gets it done. Steel Renfro gets it done. We got guys in the box all over that can play.
Well, and Coach Reapy, I mean, I really want to talk about that defense right now. There ain't no cupcakes in high school football. This ain't the SEC preseason, but there's always going to be teams that are going to be giving your best game no matter what. And I mean, you look at what your defense has been able to do, and some of this is ball control, run the clock, et cetera. But, 24-19, 21-8, the 53-6 win against A+. It's hard to shut anybody out, especially in Texas high school football. And can you just talk about the impact that the defense has had. Because normally when you see a defense playing like that, your offense wants to go out there and just, cold cock somebody, and show that they're as tough as that deep.
Yeah, I think defensively we've done a really good job these past couple of games. The last 3 games really with Madison, Life, and A+. We fixed a few things that other teams were scheming against us, and against Madison and A+, they couldn't do what the other teams were doing against us, which has helped us. The other thing is I've kept 6 in the box, and I've been able to blitz and bring some more pressure and make those quarterbacks not have as much time and as feel as comfortable sitting in the pocket as I was allowing earlier. In the back end, they've done a good job of playing man pretty much all year. I think if I looked at a stat, I bet we're 98% man throughout the year. So we've gotten better at man, and that's a positive. Because now I can keep 6 in the box, and that makes it tougher to run. Which in turns, now we can cover everybody, trying to run vertical on us or trying to run some type of passing scheme on us.
Well, and Aaron, when a coach trusts you like that out on the island, and your teammates trust you, how much confidence does that give you as a player?
It's a lot of responsibility for sure. We have all of our defensive backs are seniors, so we have a lot of experience. Our team believes in us. We believe in ourselves, and it's shown. Madison only had 77 yards against us all night. Teams really haven't been able to do anything to our secondary all year, so we feel really good about it.
Awesome. Well, and Dylan, one of the big things I've noticed is y'all become a really good tackling team. I know coaches are going to say no, to some of this, but when you're out there on the island like that, it's one-on-one. It's basically 7-man football. It gets tough out there. But as far as in the trenches, it seems like y'all are slowing them down, letting people come up and finish the job.
So our philosophy, I guess, is all 11 hats to the football. Even if you're the backside corner, we want to make sure the guy gets tackled. So even if he's almost down, we want to get there and finish it, make a pile.
Awesome. Well, Coach Olsen, we were able to come down there earlier this season, spend some time with y'all while y'all were working out. Just talk about the buy-in all the way from junior high up. It just seems like this program, everybody's buying into the football team and actually, not just showing up to play. They're showing up to become a better unit.
Yeah, so I would say that success begets success. Just in terms of last year, that was my first year at Maypearl, but we were fortunate enough to have a winning record, qualify for the playoffs, and the young kids see that, and so then they want to be more a part of that. We have a really good youth feeder program, so those kids, they see us, they end up playing on our field and growing up and watching us. We go and we high five those kids when we're leaving practice and they're getting ready to start practice. And that success breeds success. The thing that I think is really, as far as talking about the buy-in, we coach these kids from the time they're in 7th grade all the way through. Coach Reapy, he's been in Maypearl, so the group of seniors that he's got, he's been coaching them since they literally were in 7th grade. We coach the middle schoolers in the morning, we coach the high schoolers in the afternoon, and it's the dang varsity coaches. So there's no, hey, I thought this, lost in translation that. The scheme, the terminology, all that's the same. It just gets a little more complex the older you get. And then we're able to develop relationships with those kids. Plus, I'm an elementary school PE teacher, so I'm at the elementary school. Coach Martin, he teaches at the primary school and at the middle school. So we're able to develop relationships with those kids when they're young as well, at their actual campuses.
Well, and Dylan, I'm going to jump back to you real quick. Just talk about as you become an upperclassman, you start realizing some of the responsibilities of being a player. It's not just between the lines, it's outside the lines. Talk about reaching out to those younger kids and how y'all are influencing them to strive to be like you, to be a great student, to be a great person about the community, et cetera.
So I'm actually in a class that allows me to go over to Coach Olson's PE class. And being able to see him, it's kind of helped me realize like what I need to do to show these kids how to be not only a good football player, but also like a good man. So you kind of just lead by example because they're young and then impressionable. So they see you doing good and working hard, they're going to follow that. And as long as you stay positive towards them, like high five them, like coach said after practice, talk to them a little bit, it works out. Gets them invested in the program.
Great, man. Well, Aaron, real quick, okay, let's talk about Coach Reapy. You've had him for forever. All right. You're probably going to be coming back every year, check things out, make sure your legacy's left there. Just talk about how Coach Reapy has not only affected you and taught you how to play a sport that you'll end up loving the rest of your life, but taught you about outside the lines as well.
Well, he's been great. I mean, he's a true players coach. He really cares about us and the team. And he understands that the football team is built inside the locker room. And if you have good character in the locker room, it really goes everywhere. It goes into school. It goes into the community. And he really presses taking care of the community. I mean, we've done several community service projects. We've cleaned up Maypearl. We've done a lot of stuff for the youth kids. And, yeah, Coach Reapy's been great. Really has been great.
Well, Coach, I mean, you got two high-quality guys here from your team. I know there's more than just these two. There's a reason you bring these two young men on. You know, talk about them for just a moment, if you would.
You know, Jess, number one in his class. Big brain, very athletic, great kid. You know, and Dylan Peak, you know, he's very smart too. Top 10 in his class and a great kid. Both of them are great role models for not just, you know, the underclassmen, but for all of Maypearl to follow. But I will say that, you know, our senior class is probably the smartest senior class I've had. You know, Heath Racer's number 3. And we've got a couple other kids that are in top 25. So it's a really, really smart senior class this year, which I think also in turn flips back, goes to, you know, why we can do as much as we do, you know, on the football side, is because they can process and do as much, and they're a lot smarter than the average person. So that helps. And then athletically, you know, they're all gifted. So that helps. And they've all been, they've been bought in since day one, since I've taken over 4 years ago, and they've been in every summer workout. They never complained about, well, they have complained about coming to morning workouts, but they're always there. And those are big things. You know, the younger kids look at them and they see that they're there, and the buy-in they have, and the results and everything that they've put in, which has helped the younger classmen buy into what we're doing.
Well, guys, I want to thank y'all. Coach, just real quick, you know, you got a game at home this week against Whitney. Then you go away to West. What are some of the things that you want to see personally the team, you know, start to improve on, some things y'all might want to clean up before you get into that playoff run?
You know, I mean, I think offensively, it's always going to be for me, is going to be the O-line's got to be really good. But, you know, on defense, the D-line's got to be good. I just think if we can win in the trenches, the war of wills on the front line, that's what's going to win a game. So I'd like to see the O-line, D-line play really well. I'd like to see our quarterback play clean up. And then, you know, skill-wise, you know, just making the plays when we need to make the plays, making the blocks, you know, for their friends. And then, you know, defensively, doing what we've been doing. You know, we're going to give up some plays here and there, but just minimizing the amount of big plays that we give up. And we haven't been giving up a whole bunch, but just when we do give up big plays, they're big plays. And we got to cut those out if we're going to make a deep run, you know, and beat West, beat Whitney, you know, and then win our first round game. You know, if we can clean up those things, we're gonna be all right in the playoffs, and that's going to be tough for other teams.
Well, we wish y'all all the best. Aaron, Dylan, thank y'all for coming and spend some time. Probably got out of workout just a little bit ago. Hopefully got some food down you. Coach Elson, thank you as well. Coach Reapy, I know you hate doing this stuff, but we love you to death up here, and I can't wish you and your team and the town of Maypearl anything but more than great success as y'all hit the third part of the season, really, in a couple weeks.
Do you know the difference?
Well, the best benefit in having True Benefits is the fact that they're easy. You can get a hold of them. It's not 2 days later, a week later, I can make a phone call If they don't have the answer, they'll get us the answer within 24 hours.
He came to the office and interviewed all of our girls and did a presentation, told them what they were offering, and the girls were able to decide what they needed.
They came in and gave us options both for our company and our employees that were affordable and beneficial for all.
No matter the size of your business or your employees' needs, True Texas Benefits is the partner for you.
Because Ellis County knows the difference.
True Texas Benefits for all your benefits needs.